Hey guys, this is John McNamara, host of Runnin Vegas, where we're talking local sports, real estate, and business. If you guys like us, please subscribe and follow us on Instagram. And I am with my co-host today, Mr.
Rodrigo. Great to be here. And we have a very special guest today as well.
I'm Jody Smith.
Mr. Jody Smith, and he's going to be talking about lending today, so we're very excited to have him on. Thanks for coming on, Jody.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Cool. All right, so you guys might be wondering about this little chain right here.
Yeah, what's going on with that?
I am not a Kansas City fan, but I lost a bet. So we made a little fun wager. I picked the 49ers. He picked KC, so I got to wear this thing for the day. So.
Yeah, it was a great game, right? It's overtime. I don't think they've seen overtime in a Super Bowl game in a long time. So, yeah, it was very entertaining.
Yeah, it's too bad the 49ers didn't know the rules at the end of the game.
That's what it seemed like, right? Oh, man.
You'd be wearing the chain with the 49ers.
Hey, I'd be rocking the chain everywhere I go.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing you wearing that later in your workout.
Can't wait. It's going to be good. To be fair, I think the Chiefs were going to win, but my pride and my ego decided on the 49ers. But...
See, where did that go? Ego's the best friend.
Yeah, but I think the 49ers played well. I think they let the game get away. Brock Purdy just wasn't able to get down.
Right. Patrick Mahomes is used to being down in these playoff games, so it was a common territory for them, right? So, yeah. And you could tell they kind of took momentum going into the second half, so they did what they had to do during halftime.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fun.
But it was a good Super Bowl. I'm already excited for next year. And I'll definitely be rooting against the Chiefs again. So, anyways. So, hey, we're going to be talking local sports here for a little bit. UNLV basketball, another win on the road against Fresno State. 5 wins in a row for UNLV.
Man.
What'd you think of the game?
Oh, it was a great game. I believe they were down, by 3 points at halftime. It was very competitive. I was actually surprised that Fresno came out that strong, man, because they're they're like probably 10th or 11th in the conference. Mm-hmm. So I was expecting Rebels to have a relaxed game, get ahead early, and just take full control. But now it came down to the last couple minutes, right? So I'm happy they were able to pull it off.
Mountain West on the road is tough.
Yeah.
And like you and I were talking about earlier, the top 6 teams in the top 50 in the nation.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And speaking of those top 50 teams, they got Reno this weekend at the Thomas and Mack celebrating its 40-year anniversary. Wow. So that's going to be an exciting game. What's your take on that?
I'm going to be rooting for the Rebels. Definitely like to see him win. UNR has been playing great basketball, though. They've been so entertaining too. I've actually been following them recently, so it's going to be a very exciting game. I know it's at 8:30 on a Saturday, so it's maybe not the most ideal time, but I'll be watching for sure. Yeah,
the good news is they do those late games, right? Because they get the national television spot, which is good. But go out, root for Rebels, and I'm sure there's some Reno fans out there. Go see them. It should be a good boo. But it should be a good game. And so talking more about UNLV, there was an article recently that came out. The number 1 transfer class in the Mountain West for into 2024. Who do you think it is?
If I had to take a quick guess, I may say Wyoming.
You were wrong. It's UNLV. So this is a UNLV show. But we'll go through the highlights real quick. Exciting class. We got a 4-star defensive end from Oregon. 3 high 3-star kids from Arkansas in the SEC. A 5-star corner, Tony Grimes from Texas A&M. 4-star defensive end, Jackson State. 4-star safety from Texas. 4-star running back from NC State. Man. I've been watching UNLV football for 15 years. Never seen a transfer class like this before. Wow. I think it helps having Allegiant Stadium. Coaching staff's obviously doing a really good job.
Yeah. And
to highlight too, which is I'm excited to see, is the dual threat quarterback Matthew Sluka from Holy Cross in FCS last year. If you like stats, 97 touchdowns, 5,500 yards in the air, 3,500 yards on the ground in his career. So a dual threat quarterback that really fits the system that they want. They want to really establish the run game, and they've done a really good job of building up their defense. So we're excited to see, their how they look next year.
Yeah, that sounds fun. They are sure doing a great job with the program now. I'm sure a lot of college athletes too are now looking at Vegas as prime time, right? We're going to have a lot of entertainment, sports entertainment here. So I'm glad. It's great to see the city grow like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't suck playing in an NFL stadium, that's for sure.
Yeah,
So,
beautiful stadium.
yeah, so we're excited about that. So, let's get into some real estate and talk a little bit lending with Mr. Jody Smith today. Thanks for coming on. And
All right.
so, Jody,
Yes, sir.
how'd you get into lending? How'd you move to Vegas?
Vegas was close to home. So originally born in Central California. That's where my family was still staying. I left California originally to purchase a home on the East Coast, and then missed being close enough to family. So after 2 years of being on the East, I ventured back towards California, where it still wasn't affordable for me to live. So I stopped here in Las Vegas and created a home here 19 years ago. It's been
Wow.
great to me. It's treated me very well, and no complaints. I wouldn't have it any other way. It seems like I've lived here almost about as much as I lived in California, so I call this home now. As far as lending, that was a mistake. No, it just kind of happened, actually. I come from a sales and marketing background. I was in multimedia sales and marketing back in the East Coast. I did sales and marketing for produce and agriculture out of California. And I came here simply just looking for work at first. And I started a position with a credit union, believe it or not, just working in home equity. And it just kind of worked with me. I was already a numbers guy. I already had purchased property before. I understood the structuring of mortgages and the finances. I understood how to, figure out a customer's needs and kind of structure their finances up in a manner to where that they can ultimately achieve their goals that they kind of fed to me. And I really enjoyed that. And I was only at the credit union for 3 months. We hit sales goals like nobody's business while I was there. And it showed me that I could do a whole lot more with this than, pushing home equity lines of credit. Mm-hmm. I remember buying my first home, going through the process. It was incredibly intimidating, and I didn't understand the huge packet of paperwork that was in front of me. Nobody explained it to me. And I really kind of felt like I was trusting in the mortgage advisor, and I didn't even know them. And they didn't even make it a personable experience to where I felt confident enough signing the papers. And so I felt like if I took that to the mortgage industry, along with my sales and marketing background, I felt like I could succeed. And so I started applying at a couple of offices, and a very kind German lady working at a small office called USA Mortgage took me in, and the rest was history. That was back in 2005, and I haven't looked back. It's been a great career.
Wow.
A lot of my same, first clients, first year or two, are still with me today. I can call them up on the phone and still have great conversations with them, and they still come back to me for their financing needs. And it's been a good career.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we both started in 2005.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why we kind of hit it off so well. I think our method and our way to treat clientele and making it more of a personable experience rather than just a pushing a property or pushing a mortgage down somebody's throat. I'm not a salesperson. I want to make it a people situation, a personable situation. And I want people to, have that good experience. Unlike what I had when I purchased my first home, I want them to have that happy experience with confidence and knowing that they're making an educated decision. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's what makes you great at your job, in my opinion, is that you're the best lender in the business, and that's why we've been working with each other for,
probably like 15, 16 years.
15 years,
Yeah,
right?
something
so
like
happy
that.
anniversary.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do a great job with that. You really do, with connecting with clients and customer service, especially in today. What we're finding is we're seeing a lack of customer service in this industry on all fronts. And at the end of the day, that's really what customers want. So you do a really good job with that.
Thank you.
I would agree too. I've been working with Jody ever since. I've been working with John, actually. John introduced me to Jody, and he's very honest work that we do here, and that's what I appreciate the most. So most trustworthy guy, handles my family, handles my friends, my own business. So and he's my go-to for anytime I need help. I'm not going to get into detail about what kind of help, but every time I need some guidance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And he handles my family as well. And I'll say this, yeah, even finance. I mean, I just come to you. I got a degree for finance, and I look for Jody for answers, to be completely honest with you. So, yeah, I've always appreciated that about you, and you do a great job.
Thank you.
sure.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Appreciate it.
So let's talk I'm sure you're hearing this a lot right now. What is going on with the real estate market? What is going on with interest rates? So what is your forecast for this year and going into 2025?
Yeah, great question. And it's kind of a difficult question to answer. Everybody you ask is going to come at you with a different answer, either on a personal level or even if you're going and looking at media for answers. You're going to find a headline or a story that's going to fit whatever story you want. One day rates are down, one day rates are at the highest levels possible. It's really across the board. In terms of what I'm seeing right now, the market's definitely slowed down. We know this, we understand this. The market's slowed down simply because a lot of people are trapped in their houses right now. A lot of people have that 2 and 3% interest rate, and they fear selling their existing property right now and having to go find another house that's affordable to them. But then at the same time, do they really want to tag on that new interest rate in the mid 6s to maybe the low 7s?
Yeah.
Maybe not the ideal situation. And that's kind of why I'm seeing a lot of the market slowing. Is there still movement? Absolutely. New home builds are starting to pick up these days, especially with the warmer weather outside. So that's great. New people are constantly relocating here to Las Vegas. I'm seeing that a lot. I think the last podcast you did with Rod, you guys mentioned a good portion of our buyers are coming strictly from California, relocation, selling their homes. And then I do see a lot of younger people, like when I was buying my first home and they're trying to find their way into their first property. I see a lot of those people trying to figure out a way to navigate that course of home ownership. And I think that we're going to see coming from 2004 into 2025, we're probably going to see a lot more relocations. We're going to see rates come down towards the end of the year, and people are going to really think, okay, is this the time for me to go ahead and make that move that I've been waiting so long to do? Because again, people have been handcuffed for the last 18 to 24 months. So I think it'll start to pick up into 2025. And I think we'll start to see some more movement in the new home buyer, like pool as well. Especially with the down payment assistance that's out there for the first-time home buyers, but also again, just the youth that's growing up that eventually wants home ownership. I think a lot of people are going to start to see that come back into their grasp when interest rates start to come down.
Good points. And talk more about, you said there's a down payment program right now.
There's several grant programs at the state level. Home as Possible is probably one of the most commonly used ones. Minimum FICO score, 640 or so. There are some income limit requirements, but there's great grant programs that are being offered by the state right now. We currently have one for first-time home buyers. They give a flat $15,000 towards out-of-pocket expenses, whether it be down payment, whether it be closing costs. We also have some that are tier-based where you can take a 2% grant based off of your purchase price of the property, up to a 3% and a 4% grant as well. So there are a couple of different options out there. Yes, you do have to qualify and you got to fit between that specific box. But we are seeing a lot of new first-time home buyers utilize that program because, I mean, it just saves out-of-pocket expenses, so why not?
Yeah.
Great opportunity. So definitely reach out to Jody if that's something that you'd be interested in. And I think you brought up this is what I'm finding fascinating about this year in our economy. What typically happens in a presidential year?
Oh, well, yeah, so many swings. It's so heavy. There's so much activity. It's volatile out there, but we're in Vegas. I mean, that's what it is. It's a volatile market, just like it is in the casinos. It's rough, and you never know what's really going to happen. A lot of the media is going to swing you in a couple of different directions. There's going to be a lot of talk about the economy out there. Really, ultimately, if you're looking to be a homeowner, and this is just my personal advice, if you're looking to be a homeowner, and this is something that you have as one of your goals, don't listen to the media. Don't listen to the news. Don't listen to what's going on out there in the economy. Make sure it fits and suits your personal situation financially. Don't look at a home purchase as, I'm going to buy now, I'm going to refinance later. No, this is a 30-year commitment. Think about it as a real-time situation. If you purchase a property, understand the commitment that's involved. And if you can refinance later on down the line when rates come down, fantastic. But don't count on that. Don't let the media fool you into that. Just stick to your situation, stick to your goals and where you're at. And if homeownership's for you, then allow that to happen. But don't let the media dictate whether the market's going to go up, down. Don't sit on your hands, because people were doing this 3, 4, 5 years ago telling me, I'm going to wait for rates to go down again. Here our home prices are now 100,000 more than they were 5 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's rough. So don't do that. If you want to be a homeowner, be a homeowner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right, Jody. You should not listen to media. You should be listening to this podcast. So, great point you brought up.
Continue to tune in. Yeah. And Jody, I am curious, because I do have a lot of clients, people that I work with, and they're like, oh, Rodrigo, I'm waiting until I see those 2%, 3% interest rates again. So that was, to me, more of a once in a lifetime kind of deal. Would you agree with that, or do you think we'll ever see 2s and 3s again?
No, I agree 100%, and that's very likely a once in a lifetime situation. We were coming off of a very unusual time in our economy, where we were bouncing back from a recession back in 2008, 2009. And the interest rates were dropped to those levels to kind of stimulate the marketplace. And it did for a very long time, an extended period of time, almost a decade. And I really don't see it going back to something like that unless we have another event very similar, which I just don't foresee happening. Yeah. That had the perfect storm of too many houses out there in the marketplace, adjustable rate mortgages, predatory lending, the list goes on and on. The bottom line is it really seems like that was a one-time situation that you probably won't see again. Will we see reasonable rates out there? Yeah, absolutely. They're not going to be in the 6s and 7s forever.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, I think you bring up some really good points, because the reality is, conservatively, what we're seeing out there is we are expected to have 2 to 4% appreciation from everything that we're really looking at. And I'm not talking about Las Vegas, and we're looking at nationally. So Las Vegas typically doubles whatever those are. So we're looking at potentially anywhere from 6 to 8% per appreciation. The average home is, or median sales price is $450,000. Mm-hmm. So do the math real quick. And I think we just have to adjust to the new times, because I agree with you. I do not think those 2 to 3, those are gone. Those are, and this is what a lot of our clients are dealing with right now. They have to make the decision of keeping that home as a rental because it's a great investment now, and then purchase something else, or start moving on. But I think without question, once we start seeing these interest rates start coming, we're already seeing it this year. Activity has picked up dramatically in the last 45 days. Mm-hmm. So what's going to happen when they start ticking under 6? I believe the floodgates are going to open. It's going to be a very interesting market. So if you're thinking about doing something, especially if you're a buyer right now, this is the time to do it. Get ahead of it, because it's going to go back to the 20, 30 offers again when properties come on the market. Yeah. That pent up motivation demand, there's people that wanted to buy and sell for a very long time, and then they're just on the sidelines right now, but they're there, I promise you, because the conversations we're having every single day, people are in the works. They're thinking about it. They're making moves. So it's a really interesting time. And to rewind what you're talking about previously, because I do think it's a really interesting year. Because usually election years, as we know, and this show is not about politics, to be very clear, whoever wins, wins. But every election year, the market slows down for like a 2-month period. Everybody I talk to, call me after election, call me after election. You've experienced this multiple times, you've experienced this once. Mm-hmm. The reality of what's going to be interesting about this market, I think the spring is going to be very healthy. And I agree with you. I think the interest rates are going to start coming down in the summer and the fall. So this might be a very unique second half of the year. And there's no crystal ball to this, but everything economically is lining up for the second half of this year to be a totally different market and for things to line up. So I'm kind of like just kind of watching it right now, like, man, this could be for real estate, for, selling and buying homes. I think it's going to actually be a good year. So So we're excited about it. But
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be healthy, yeah. And Jody, I'm sure a lot of listeners out there are wondering, what are the qualifications to get approved for a loan? We are seeing a big first-time home buyer, come into the market now for people that have never purchased before. And it's funny because they mentioned they're getting a house for their dogs or their pets, not really for themselves. But can you give the listeners maybe what are some typical qualifications to meet?
Absolutely. So a lot of these qualifications have been changing, and it's from week to week these days, just because banks are starting to become far more aggressive to earn your business. Previously, I'd say within the last 12 months or so, we've gone from minimum down payment requirements being from originally 3 to 3.5%. Now we've got some lenders that are coming all the way to 1%. Yeah, and we've also got some guys that are actually with a no down situation with an additional bond on top of that. You've seen that out in the marketplace. So it really depends on who you're speaking to and what week you're talking to, because again, banks are trying to earn your interest. They're slow out there, as the market is, and they're trying to earn that business. Traditional minimum FICO scores are still the 620 to 640 range or so. Income requirements, yes, you're still looking to keep your debt to income ratios maximum under 45% or so, ideally. Traditionally, once your housing debt to income ratio will be below 30 to 35% or so. And you always want to have some money in the bank. The bottom line is there's 3 areas that you need to concentrate on, and it's always going to be your asset category, your credit category, and then your income category. As long as you can concentrate on those 3 pieces, then you shouldn't have any issues. But yeah, minimum FICO score, 620 to 640 range, and keep some money in the bank for that down payment. But you can get a home these days with no down payment in some cases.
I hear they're financing 100% of the loan.
Yeah.
I don't know if that should be scary or if people should take advantage of that or...
I would say that it depends on your personal situation, like I was saying earlier. I think with home ownership, a lot of people are looking at it not as a home any longer, but more an investment.
Yeah.
I think if you got back to looking at it as a home and putting a roof over your head, then people would understand that you're not just buying this house to live in it for the next 2 to 3 years and then sell it in hopes of making a profit. I think if you're ultimately going to live in a home for an extended period of time and you're going to be there paying the mortgage, paying the interest, and earning interest, traditionally like you would in any regular market, again, with your regular increases in equity, I think a 0% down situation could be good for some.
Yeah. Okay, that's some good feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Do you have any other additional tips for buyers out there?
I'd say that probably one of the top things that I've seen from some of my younger borrowers that have come about. I was lucky enough to purchase my first home at 22. I don't know many 22-year-olds these days that can buy a house in today's marketplace.
Yeah, it's tough.
And we're all looking for a way to do it. Have you guys heard of house hacking at all? Are you familiar with it?
No, can you tell us about it?
So house hacking is kind of a new phenomenon that's come into the market these days, probably within the last 12 to 24 months or so. If I was in today's marketplace and I was that young 22-year-old, how would I buy my house? Well, I would probably look towards house hacking. And really what it comes down to is buying a property and renting out rooms. I mean, that's just really what it comes down to. Oh. And in some cases, you live in the property. In other cases, you don't necessarily need to. I've got one young man that actually purchased the property. He bought a 3-bedroom house. He lived in the property. Of course, he got it set up the way that he needed to, whether it's Wi-Fi, furnishings, et cetera, et cetera. But he also threw a bed and a dresser in his extra rooms. And along with that, what he did was he put it out on the marketplace for rent.
Right.
And he's renting those rooms anywhere between $500 to $700 a month. And that helps offset his mortgage. And now the mortgage that he traditionally could not really afford in today's marketplace, he now has tenants in here helping offset that. He went from that particular home and then bought a second one as well.
Wow.
Put 3 tenants in one house, moved on to his next, lived in it for the first 12 months, of course, owner occupancy, et cetera,
Right.
but then moved on to the next. I think house hacking is a great way for young people that are looking to get into home ownership. I think this is a way to kind of hack the system in their benefit.
No, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I love that. I think I house hacked when I my first house.
People used to do that. There just wasn't a name for it,
So I created house hacking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout
So
out.
no big deal.
It's the chain. It's the bling bling around.
No,
your
what I
neck.
thought I was thinking about. I'm getting some flashbacks now. But yeah, I was thinking about my first house in Vegas.
Yeah.
It was my girlfriend at the time and my cousin, and they moved in. They pay rent, and I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I do this?
Yeah.
So I love the term for that, and what a great idea. Yeah, take advantage of the market. What a great investment. And I'll say that first house that I bought, and the same thing probably with you, Jody, it doubled in value in about a 10-year period. Don't be surprised that in 10 years from now we're talking about the same thing, just higher prices. Because the reality is Californians, people from Washington, Hawaiians, people from the Northeast, they're all moving here. There's a lot of positive things going on with the marketplace.
Las Vegas is a great city to be in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably one of the quickest developing, probably one of the top 10 cities that's developing here in the United States. Yeah, like you said, there's so many people from so many different areas relocating here. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
We opened one casino. How many tens of thousands of jobs is that offering out here?
Yeah.
Not to mention, well, it used to be affordable, but it's still less affordable than some of the more metropolitan cities out
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, think about all the hotels that opened up this year. And then a couple things, I know we got away from sports, but it was literally just in the news yesterday on ESPN, the commissioner of the NBA talking about NBA expansion. It's kind of like everybody's talking about the A's and how that's a done deal. The NBA is coming here. I mean, they have already approved a $3 billion arena with mixed use around it. What do you think is happening? So that's just one thing I love about Vegas. It's always the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, and next thing. And this is why people are moving here. And this is why we are projected another 1 million people to move here in the next 10 years. So we got a lot of positive things with the marketplace. So.
Yeah, they have a huge project right now. We're going to be closer to California than we were before. Aren't they bringing that fast train that's going to get you to San Bernardino in an hour and 12 minutes?
I'm so glad you brought that up. Yeah, they just got more approval for that. I can't remember that I don't have it in front of me right now, but I read that. They got two approvals for funding. And that's going to be really unique because that train is basically going to be able to get from here to LA, give or take, in about an hour. So the market kind of shifted, obviously, during the pandemic because we do a lot of Zoom, people working from home. But now there's going to be literally people, it's like, hey, I can take the train to work and then come back home. And then that hour on the train, they can work or do whatever they want.
True.
So what's going to happen? More people are going to move here.
Yeah.
So just, this, and I will also say this, the number, as annoying as it gets for Las Vegans, it's the #1 infrastructure city in the nation. The city is constantly getting ahead of everything. They think through things so well. And to see, unfortunately, the great state of California, they're behind decades with their infrastructure. And it's hard to watch, right? Because you go out there and you're sitting in traffic for an hour, 2 hours, and your house is down the road. So that's one thing I love about the city as well. It's they're very forward thinking and open minded. So
Yeah. It's a lot of exciting things.
yeah, cool. Well, if you're looking to buy a home, I super recommend the best lender in the business, Mr. Jody Smith. Thank you so much for being on our podcast today. It's an honor to have you on here.
Thanks, John. My
You're our
pleasure.
first guest, and it means a lot to us. Again, I want to thank everybody, and thank you, buddy, for co-hosting me. I got the best co-host in the business here. But again, I want to thank everybody for the love and support. The last couple of weeks have been amazing. And we just want to wish everybody well and take care of yourselves today, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.